All right, so looks like day number 12 now is in the books, and I actually had the time to do this recap on the same day as the trading day. How about that? So the result for today is plus $67.42, which is a net ROE gain of 2.79% on only 50% accuracy. Now, before I get into the trades today, I do want to mention that, just a reminder that I did cut off the last recap pretty abruptly. I had to leave. I'm back now. And when I was about to post that recap on my channel, I noticed a notification from Warrior Trading, which was Ross's recap from today, the 4th of February. And he suffered the worst loss of his career today, losing $284,000. And I watched that recap, and I have to say, he took the words out of my mouth from the recap that I wanted to make yesterday, or for day 11, rather. So I think I might talk about that. It depends how quickly I can get through the trades. That's always a struggle. But I really do want to refer anybody watching this video, if you want a real amazing, legitimate, fully transparent, totally honest recap of a red day, which is something I love to provide as much as I hate having these days. When I do have them, I understand that they're educational for whoever's watching, and I don't have the time to be covering day 11. I don't think I'm going to find the time. And so I'll start off by just recommending to go check out that video. I'll put a link in the description from Warrior Trading, and take a look at that recap, because I think the educational value is through the roof. And I think also it's really encouraging to see somebody who trades at those really high levels, somebody who made $900,000 last week, have these same problems and lose control of their emotions and take bad trades and make all the same mistakes that we all make. I think it's a really uplifting thing. So I highly recommend that. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look at what I did today. So here's a look at my trade log from today with the 4 trades that I took highlighted there at the bottom. Scroll over a little bit. And what I'm going to attempt to do in this video is go through the details only of each of these trades and show you the charts and not take 40 minutes about it. We'll see how that goes. So first things first, it's important to note that the morning was booked for me. I was not able to trade. This was not like a discipline fail where I wasn't there because of that. It was strictly I had other work and it was unavoidable. So I missed the morning session, and I took a little nap in between, I think 11:30 to maybe 12:45 or something like that, and woke up feeling really good. And so I restarted my morning routine, and I ended up getting it done in maybe 15 minutes. And so I sat down to trade at around 1 o'clock and right away got involved in a trade on Lizzie. So that's what we're looking at right now, is that trade on Lizzie. And I'm not going to talk too much about this one. It isn't all that interesting. I was looking for a high of day retest, and the spot that I was anticipating the break of was this 1520 level right here. Now you can see on my entry that I got in, I pretty much bought the top here at 1468 on this candle, and then was immediately met with a wash back down. And I thought, great, like here we go. And it just so happens to be Lizzie too, which was even more like, put me a little bit on edge. My stop was wide on this though to begin with, and that's part of the reason why I took 50 shares. And I was initially intending to add pretty aggressively. However, we ended up bouncing off that 1520 level and coming back down. Now, by that point, after the bounce of 1520, I did move my stop up several times. It was initially $14, and I did move it up all the way up to $14.60. Now, coming off this 1520 bounce, there was a little bit of a curl attempt right here in these 3 candles right here. And I was really, really excited. Like I was anxious to add. I saw the volume ramp here. If you look on the 1 minute chart there's that volume ramp leading into the 1520, and then it's descending on the pullback, which is a perfect setup for the volume to ramp again on the next leg. So I was really hoping that I'd be able to get a spot to add at either above 15 or above 1520, depending on the action. I never got that, and I ended up stopping out very close to my entry at 1462. Now, this next one was on UAVS, which came out of nowhere a little bit. You can see it spiked from 1140 up to 1289 and then started pulling back. And what I noticed about this one, my main thought on this one, was this flat bottom here of support at 1230, which I found this stock around 122 on this candle. And I started watching it. And what I noticed is that there was a pretty substantial hidden buyer at 1230. I wasn't able to determine exactly how big the buyer was, but I figured based on the chart that this was probably a good spot to take a preemptive entry looking for the high of day break. And so that's what I did after this. These two candles right here, by the way, it's worth noting, on a larger time frame, this would be a bottoming tail. And that's usually part of the trigger of a rise back up, of a curl that leads to, substantial momentum. And so I ended up getting in on this candle, which was initially on pace to break the volume, the recent volume highs, and it died down almost immediately. And you can see that right after like a small pop up to 1275, there was a long body going down, and we ended up testing that 1230 level. Now, a few minutes later, it did break through that 1230 level right here, and I decided to give it a second. The give it a second didn't really work out, and so I ended up stopping out at 1221. Okay, so I pretty much knew that wasn't going to work. I just spent 23 minutes talking about these two trades, and that's just too long. That's unacceptable. So I've deleted that, and we're gonna just not cover these trades. Basically, my entries and exits are all visible up here. Feel free to take a look at those. You can see pretty much how they went. There are a few things I do want to talk about these trades, though. Number one is the failed fills. That's probably the most important thing that happened, where I didn't get filled on a lot of my buy orders. My exits were fine. Everything went right there, but my buy orders ran into a lot of trouble. Now, the first time was on this pop at 151, which is the one that I was loading up for. You can see I took 50 shares on this candle, another 50 here. I thought about taking some here. I decided against it. And then finally, when we broke 50, I hit the buy 50 shares key, and I didn't get filled. It was already 15 cents above my attempt. My offset was just not good enough, and so I missed that completely. Now, less than a second later, it feels like, I don't have recording, but I'm pretty sure it was very quick. We were squeezing into a halt at 587, and I thought, nope, that's too quick. That move needed to be slower if we were going to get there, and I anticipated a pretty substantial pullback, and I was right. I was very right, in fact. My exit at 586 happened only 22 seconds into this candle, and you can see the top of the candle is only 4 cents higher than my exit. So what that tells you is that there was a substantial pullback within this long body. It wasn't just straight up. It was straight up, then back down to around 50, and then back up. So I'm happy that I gave myself the chance to avoid that pullback, and I'm very happy with the exit at 586. Now, the one above $6 at 612, I stick to that one okay. I can't have a problem with that, even though, yes, there was this continued move all the way up to 734. I do think that the action by that point was questionable enough that it was okay for me to take that slightly early exit on the second half. Now, once again up here, I failed to get filled. You can see there was a micro pullback on the 1 minute, and what I was looking for was the first 1 minute new high. Now, I found it here, and everything lined up. The volume had been descending on the pullback, and then it broke the high of the highest pullback volume, which for me is a big deal in terms of entry timing. And so I tried to take another 50 share entry at, I believe, 741 or something like that. And I didn't get filled. I canceled it immediately. And once again, it pulled back. It was almost exactly the same thing as down here. And so once again, I planned to get in at a different price at a different situation. And I found it only a couple minutes later on this candle, which at the time was on pace for very high volume. It ended up closing not that great. However, the pullback coming off it was very small. It was only down to just below $7 and then immediately got picked up and ripped past my entry. And even though there was a pretty hard flush after the break of 750, it came all the way back down very quickly to 733. It looked like a rejection at the time, which certainly played into my mind on where I sold. Now, my target the whole time on this trade was pretty much $8 flat. And I ended up getting that pretty quickly on this candle here. After that wash back down, squeezed all the way back up to $8. And once again, I top ticked the exit. So back here at the time of my exit, the top of the candle was 587, and I had exited at 586. And then on this one, my exit was 793, and the top of the candle at the time of my exit was 794. Now, I'm going to shrink this chart back down and use the 5 minute to show you what happened here. I'm sure most of you are probably aware that this went to the moon up to just under $20. And there was a 5 minute flag that I tried to pounce on. I noticed this pop up to 810, which was going to be my entry trigger. And I just wanted to see a test of 750, which was the previous high back here. And the test of 750 worked out. It didn't even get down there. and then it immediately ripped from that 66 bottom just right through 810. And I tried to take 100 shares this time because this was a 5-minute setup. I was feeling very good about it. I thought the profit potential was very significant. My target initially was only going to be $1 higher, which would put it at $9 ish. But at the same time, I thought that the price action could change my plan and that I could end up loading up on this one. Now, once again, I didn't get filled. And this is the spot where I decided, okay, I probably have to leave this alone just because I'm not getting filled here. Because I didn't get filled, I think my attempt was around $8.30 or something, $8.30, and I didn't get there. I didn't try to readjust it. I didn't try to, cut the share size in half or anything like that. I just decided, you know what, I missed this, and let's wait for the next pullback. And that's when the final missed entry of the day took place, was coming off of this break right here of 950. And the risk on this was very high. I think it was like 75 or 80 cents that I was planning on risking on my starter. But I did have add-on plans that would have made that perfectly okay. I think I was aiming for about a 4.5 to 1 profit loss. And like I said, once again, I missed the entry. I didn't get filled. I canceled the order, and I did not try to get back in. I did not chase it. And this is something I'm actually really happy about in this day. So as you can see by all those failed entries and failed add-ons, there's quite a bit of profit that got left on the table today. And, I could sit here and be upset about how I should have booked maybe like $150 a day or something like that. But coming off of the day that I had on Monday or whatever it was there, pretty sure it's Monday. Anyway, coming off day 11, I really, just anytime I have a result like that that's a really big loser, I really, my focus is just to rebuild slowly and just get that a little bit of confidence back, and then we'll talk about getting aggressive later. So ultimately, I'm pretty happy about this. I think my winning trades were good. I think it's really important to note that the percentages are there. This is the way it's supposed to look. 0.68% loser, 3.79% loser, and then either one of those winners, even the small one at 50 shares, that's basically just a scalp. This one still covered my two losers. And so the 2-to-1 ratio, the minimum is there. I am actually booking more. This one was quite a bit more than 2-to-1 as it turns out. And I think that's good. That's just, I need something like that in order to avoid the kinds of mistakes that I've been making. And I think something that's really important as well is that the battle that I've been having with this, active trader versus sniper, this battle has continued. It was actually really bad today on AACG especially. During that rip up, I had to talk myself out of a lot of different things, and I did. And I think it's interesting to note how these 2 days were back to back of the one day where I completely lost that battle and I just said yes to all the things that didn't make sense and none of the things that did make sense. And then today, I didn't do the opposite. It's not like I nailed it. I didn't hit it out of the park today. But this, I think, is a good example of me trading safely and smartly. And that's something that I haven't really been able to say about a lot of these other days. Every day I feel like there's something that pisses me off about the way I traded or the way I prepared to trade. And even though this was a bit weird today in that I had to take the morning off and I'm trading in unfamiliar hours, I do think that I handled it well and I prepared myself well and I didn't overextend myself in the situations that I thought were dangerous. Most notably on AACG, after all those missed entries, there were still other opportunities later, and I was watching, I was present, and I decided that the bigger picture is more important than this bit of profit that I might take today, in that not taking that loss that's going to reverse the day and put my P&L back into the red and possibly lead to a snowball streak of losing. Avoiding that is much more important than adding $100 today. Because like in the video that I recommended at the beginning of this recap, where Ross recaps his massive loss today, in that video he states so beautifully, so perfectly, that the emotional impact of a loss is way heavier than like an equal value winner. Example, if I win, let's say $100 in a day, I'm going to feel moderately good. But if I lose $100, it's not going to just be the same amount of emotion on the other side, on the negative side. It's going to be way worse. And I'm very much like that. I think most people are. I think a lot of losses in a row does weigh on you. And I'm keeping in mind right now that, I'm coming off of 7 losing days in a row on my previous account, and my simulator didn't go that well either. So it looks like I only have like a month's worth of bad trading here, or questionable trading at least. But really, it actually extends quite a bit further. And that's something to keep in mind, is that, like, this is quite a long period of not great performance here. And if I want to give myself the confidence to get into my A game and into the zone, then I really have to book a lot more of these types of days. That's why I'm not really patting myself on the back today. When I closed the day, my feeling was, yeah, you better close the day with that. And in fact, don't even talk to me until there's like 5 more of these, and then maybe I'll start patting myself on the back then. But for now, it's going to be, continue to be cautious and continue to try and avoid the pitfalls, the things that have been hurting me. So that's how I'm going to end this one, and hopefully we're going to have some momentum tomorrow. I noticed there was a couple things running. Lizzie broke some highs after the bell rang there, went all the way up to 19. So there is quite a bit of momentum going on, and I'm looking forward to whatever opportunities it provides me with tomorrow. And I'm certainly keen on avoiding the 1 minute chart for strategy, mostly only using it for entries. And, sticking to the things that I know I'm good at, and avoiding the things that I know I'm bad at.